What is up, friends on YouTube? This is Chris from Crisis Point, and welcome back to the channel. And this is going to be my Zenfone 5 unboxing and overview in 2020. Now, this video is going to be a bit longer than usual, as I'll be covering a few interesting elements about this device and as to why I even bothered getting this device in 2020. So with that said, let's do this. Okay, so before anything else, please do note that this is not a sponsored video from ASUS or is provisioned by anyone from the ASUS brand. Alright, so for those of you who aren't aware, the Zenfone 5 was released back in 2018 as a smartphone that came with features that was not of the 2018 period, but with features you now see today in common smartphones. It's like you wouldn't be enjoying whatever brand you're holding on to right now if it weren't for the Zenfone 5 and its AI technology. And much like Samsung, they too had a Korean brand ambassador, which I'm pretty amazed not a lot of people knew about, which is this guy right here, which is also more famously known for this K-drama series. Anyway, enough about that, let's jump back into the unboxing. Alright, so first things first is the ASUS branding and the slogan that says "We love photo" on the side, which is emphasis that this device is geared towards photography. 2018 is probably the birth of the mobile photography era. Around back is where you'll see a ton of information, but does indicate some key features, which is the processor, storage, color variant, screen size, RAM, and a few freebies that go along with it. Alright, so removing the top portion, we're greeted with a welcome packet which contains some of the essential components of a modern day smartphone, which includes a manual, a warranty card, a SIM ejector tool, and a complimentary jelly case. Next up is the device itself, but we're going to save this for later. Now, underneath the device, there are more essential accessories, which, as you can tell, ASUS didn't skimp out on, which is very much appreciated. It comes with a USB Type-C cable for data transfer and charging purposes, a fast charging brick with support for Qualcomm's quick charge, which should get you from 0 to 100% in less than 2 hours, and a pair of high-res audio-firing earbuds, which sounds exceptional for a free pair of earbuds. This piece of the puzzle is important as it works really well with ASUS's Audio Wizard, which is often seen on high-end ASUS laptops for video production, plus it has support for DTS surround sound, which is pretty much an overkill rather than those cheap-sounding AirPods. Alright, so back to the device itself. So the Zenfone 5 is built much like any other modern-day smartphone. It comes with a 6.2-inch IPS LCD display, with a glass front and back and metal sides, plus that concentric circle design, giving you that 5-star premium feel, which is awesome. On the side, we have a power button and volume rockers, which are very clicky and tactile. Above is the secondary microphone. Towards the left is a hybrid SIM card tray and the third microphone. And towards the base is where you'll find a 3.5mm headphone jack, a USB Type-C port, a bottom front speaker, and the primary microphone. Top center is obviously the notch that houses the 8-megapixel front camera, which is a very capable sensor, and a secondary speaker for calls and audio, which means the Zenfone 5 comes with a set of stereo speakers giving you a full rich audio experience that not many smartphones in this price point come with. Around back is where you'll find the pride and glory of the Zenfone 5, which is the dual lens configuration, with a 12-megapixel primary lens and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, which actually made this device a huge hit in terms of photography back in 2018. In terms of performance, the Zenfone 5 comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 636 processor, paired with 4 or 6 GB of RAM, with 64 gigs of onboard storage, which is expandable via microSD. Now, unlike 2020 smartphones, out of the box it comes pre-installed with Android Oreo, which is in this case already been updated to Android 9 Pie. And based on reports, it's expected to get Android 10 sometime later this year, but no confirmed dates yet. In terms of photography, the Zenfone 5 was rated as one of the top mid-range devices in 2018 by DxO Mark Scores, which is the usual go-to site for any mobile photography enthusiast. And for a mid-range device to be recognized as one of the top, but to give you a more personal approach, here's one of my mentors to talk about her experience with the Zenfone 5 as her daily driver over the past 2 years.
I'm Dale Leary. I'm a photography instructor at Philippine Center for Creative Imaging, or PCCI. I'm also a Canon professional, and I'm a heavy user of ASUS Zenfone 5. I was one of the Zenfone Pixel masters, but until now, I still use my Zenfone 5 for mobile photography. Besides the fact that it gives me the option to have a good amount of control over my camera settings when I'm shooting in pro mode, Zenfone 5 also lets me just kind of relax and focus on my concept and then my composition when I'm shooting in automatic mode. One thing I point out to my smartphone photography students at PCCI is the Zenfone 5's AI technology. So, for example, if I'm shooting with my Zenfone 5 mounted on a tripod, the AI technology actually detects that my camera is stable, which would then tell the camera that it can use a lower ISO setting so that the image won't be noisy. For more gadget reviews, check the other videos here at Crisis Point and go ahead and click that subscribe button.
Okay, so let's talk about gaming, since that's like a big thing at the moment. Although the Zenfone 5 comes with a more dated processor compared to mid-range devices in 2020, it can handle game titles like Call of Duty Mobile, which is quite impressive considering that this was released back in 2018. And back then, the only survival FPS games in the market was Free Fire, Knife Out, and PUBG, which may be big in terms of file size, but graphics aren't too demanding as opposed to Call of Duty Mobile. Gaming performance would obviously take a hit since you're already limited to low to medium graphic settings, and yet the Zenfone 5 can easily muscle out any current game available via the Google Play Store. To power up the gameplay, you can always toggle the AI boost function, which allows the AI tech in the Zenfone 5 to redirect its resources to the overall performance of the device, much like the X mode you'd see on the ROG phones from ASUS. Now, aside from those mentioned, because the ASUS Zenfone 5 was one of the first to incorporate AI technology into their smartphones, it also comes with a wide variety of features that literally take full advantage of this AI tech in it. And these are the OptiFlex, which accelerates app launchers, reloads, and saves power on standby. It also comes with suggested apps, which shows a personalized app suggestion based on your app usage. AR charging, which adjusts the charging rate based on your charging behavior, like whenever you plug it in, when you're playing, or going to sleep. Smart Screen extends the screen on time while looking at the device. And AI ringtone, which adjusts the ringtone volume of incoming calls based on the background noise levels. And on top of that, the Zenfone 5 also comes with some notable features that are quite popular with other brands, such as Twin Apps, which allows you to log into 2 accounts on one app and run them at the same time. Game Genie, similar to the ROG phone, which brings added features when gaming. Zenimoji is basically another take on Animoji, but for Android users, that utilizes the front camera and the sensors built into it, which brings some amazing results and can be used on third-party apps too when doing video calls. Safeguard is your SOS type of function, which automatically sends out a call or SMS in case of emergency, which is very important should you need it. So as you can see, the Zenfone 5 is by no means just some mid-range device. ASUS brought its A game releasing this smartphone back in 2018, and even if you disregard the brand ambassador promoting the product, this device is already on a category on its own. Now in terms of price, and this is the most interesting part of this video, the ASUS Zenfone 5 was originally launched at $400 back in 2018. In the Philippines, this was at 19,990 pesos converted, but in 2020 you can actually get an ASUS Zenfone 5 for just around 150 bucks, which converted to Philippine peso is around 7,000 bucks. That is actually within the range of a 2020 entry-level smartphone. I mean, think about it. If you can get everything that I've discussed in this video as opposed to a 2020 entry-level device, which can potentially come with a bad display, a set of cheap camera lenses, or an underperforming processor, why even bother spending on a 2020 entry-level device if offerings like the Zenfone 5 still exist in 2020? That brings more value for the money you work for. Remember, software is just one piece of the puzzle when buying a new smartphone. Always consider what is being brought to the table and not just the aesthetics of the user interface. With Android devices, you have access to launchers that can easily alter the appearance of the UI. So that is an irrelevant excuse. And that basically answers the question as to why I got the ASUS Zenfone 5 in 2020. Now, if ASUS Global or even ASUS Philippines were to consider sending me the Zenfone 6 or the Zenfone 7, or even the latest ROG Phone 3, would I accept it? Definitely. As a tech enthusiast, it is always important to look for the next best thing and do a deep dive so we tech reviewers can give our thoughts and opinions so consumers are in the know if a product is indeed worth the value and can run the test of time, much like the Zenfone 5. And that's about it for my Zenfone 5 2020 edition overview. Thanks again for watching. If you did enjoy this video, do consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comments if you liked it or not, whichever works for you. Give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, especially those who has a Zenfone 5 or has been wanting to get a Zenfone 5 in 2020, to let them know that it's still a very capable smartphone. Thanks again for watching. This is Chris once again from Crisis Point, and I'll catch you in the next one.